welcome on in. This is episode 25 of the Paladins podcast. Still waiting for a couple of the main members to come through, but until they do, we can just kind of go over Drogoz as a whole together. Here, let me pull it up. So I am referencing the Paladins fandom this time. And the reason being is because you can find most of the stuff you need to know about these champions here. A lot of the stuff is outdated because I don't believe they update this as frequently as they used to. So keep in mind that some things may be a little different. And I mean, we don't really go into the champions as far as like the aesthetics, right? So like when they were released, like the different skins. Sometimes we do if we're talking about it, but most of the time we just kind of go over, you know, them as a champion, what makes them good versus what doesn't make them good. So here you can find like the lore, and which I didn't know that before, but you can find the old and unofficial bio here. That I didn't know. I thought that the bios have just kind of like remained the same. So I thought that was pretty interesting and wanted to share that. So I'll read the summary. Drogoz is a heavy output damage champion with high vertical mobility. His weapon of choice, a rocket launcher, fires rockets in the desired direction without fall-off damage nor change in velocity. Any enemy hit by Drogoz's Loogie Spit will take additional damage from his rockets. The Loogie can also, which I find that funny that they put Loogie. Like, girl, we couldn't just say Spit. Like, the Loogie can also be shot mid-air, exploding it and doing damage to enemies based on their proximity of the explosion. Just a pause. I don't play a lot of Spit Drogoz. I kind of was for a little bit because a while ago, Fusillade was bugged, and then, or it wasn't the talent that was bugged. It was like a card, I believe, that was bugged. So it wasn't the talent, my bad. It was a card that was bugged, but they fixed it. Because I used to run Fusi all the time. Actually, when I first started playing Drogoz, I played Wormjets because that was meta at the time. Then I switched to Fusi, and then I've become like more of a Spit player. But I don't know. It changes depending on who you're going against because Drogoz is one of those champs, unfortunately, that has a lot of counters. However, if you become really good with him and like really understand his shots and his kit, I feel like it wouldn't matter how many counters you have. What's up, Biggie? Thank you for the raid. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, that sound means that I got a raid. I am doing this live, so that's what that sound means. How's it going, Biggie? We are doing the Paladins podcast. This is episode 25, and we're discussing Drogoz. We've put him in the champion hot seat, so we're discussing the pros and cons of this character. Thank you again for that raid. Let me give you a quick shout out. How was your stream? I play Drogoz. Never, in parentheses. I was just saying that I don't play a lot of combustible as much as I play like the other two talents. I mean, recently it's kind of the one I go to because I know I can pop off on it. I also feel like combustible is very forgiving, but a lot of the times that you see people running like some of the tech, it's usually going to be the combustible or Wormjets talents. But I could be stand corrected because I don't play him like that. And most of the people I see play different talents. Like there's just not one good talent. Like I just feel like he could be good on all three, but also again I don't play him like that, so I can't really go into detail as far as the talents. We could still wait for the more Drogoz mains to come in and comment on it. Hi Nova, how are you? Good morning. I only use combustible if I have to play Drogoz, only when I can crouch behind. Really, literally same. That's kind of what I was saying. Like it's very forgiving, and I feel like you can do more as far as like some of the cheesier things. Like, Frog would be the perfect person to speak on this, and I might just DM them to get their input, and when I go to edit for the video, include that. I heard Drogoz. He's one of my DPS mains now. Really? I don't see you play a lot of Drogoz. That's interesting. What is it about him that you love so much? Like, if a new player was like, look, I understand most of the stuff in this game. I want to play Drogoz. What is one piece of advice you'd give them? Well, then you're going to be top tier in no time, Nova. You're learning from the best. Hello? I love his mobility and high skill cap. I'm just pissed by his large number of counters. Yes, I feel like that is something that a lot of people have a problem with. Like, and me myself, because, I don't know. I feel like if you're good at playing a lot of the aerial champs or people like projectile people like Willow or Betty, I feel like you get used to going up against hit scan quite frequently, and so it's like if you know how to run the tech into dodge hit scan with those champs, I feel like you're gonna be fine on Drogoz, honestly. If Drogoz didn't have half a roster of counters, he would be the top tier damage and be nerfed to the ground by now. That is true, and I feel like during the time that I played, like when I first started playing Paladins and I was new, a lot of people were playing Drogoz at the time because Strix had just got nerfed. Like a lot of the hit scans were not as good. Andro was probably the only one at the time that could counter him. Everybody else was either bugged or just not as good. And I want to say that was like maybe mid 2021, like summer of 2021. Anyone could correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, but I'm going by what I remember. Focusing Lens Ying too hard of a Drogoz counter. Yeah, I could see that because honestly, focusing Lens Ying that can actually do things on her, like, is an issue for me on Willow. I know we're not talking about Willow, but like I'm gonna compare the two because those two are the main like aerial champs that are, in my opinion, they seem like they'd be easy to play until you play them, and then learning the tech is what makes it the higher skill. One of my buddies, who is at one point the #1 Paladins player in ranked, is a damaged drug main. Ooh. Drug is one of his main damages. It's hard to say he's a main. He plays everything. Right, yeah, felt that. Alright. So, but Drog is his highest level champ. Right. So, I mean, it's safe to say, it's like, yeah, you at one point in time mained him. And it's literally because he's unstoppable if you're good enough. Oof. Damn. I heard Drogoz. Yes, yes. We just started. For those that don't know, Trinity is the one who inspired this week's champion hot seat. We did a poll last night, and Drogoz ended up being the winner. We haven't talked about Drogoz on the champion hot seat. We've discussed a lot of tanks and supports, and I think very little like flanks or damages. Yeah, go ahead. Let me switch over to this screen. So we've got the pros and the cons and the overall insights. And anyone in chat's welcome to put their 2 cents in. I'll try to summarize it the best of my ability. Remember that I do it by pros and cons, so let's start with the pros. Let's list a bunch of pros for Drogoz. And it could literally be down to anything. Talents, gameplay, survivability, kit, whatever. Yeah, no worries, I'm here. We haven't. Bon, we haven't. Pro, best mobility of all the damages. Alright. Make Ruckus next and I'll... Okay. I got you. So it won't be next week, it'll be the week after because we're doing it every other week now. We've limited how much we do the podcast just because it takes so much time. No worries, Mon. Let me snooze ads. I'm in reasoning room. Tren, you're in the old Discord. I'm in the new Discord. I'm in the reasoning room. One of the highest damage DPS? Like in the entire class? Or just in general? I didn't understand what you said. Sorry, Nova. Also, hi, Tren.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can. Oh, nice and clear too. Normally it's like really low.
Oh, because I'm on my laptop.
Oh,
running on my PC.
nice.
Yeah, we just had a company come in to do like some deep cleaning on that rug, so
Oh, I
I'm waiting
see.
for the upstairs to dry off.
Oh, I felt that. I felt that.
It looks great though. The whole upstairs for 150 bucks. Gee,
I used
pretty
to
good.
do a professional cleaning, and I would always feel so like accomplished when I was done because the house would look amazing. And I mean, like the way we were taught was like we would clean the floors by hand type shit. Like it was just it was the extra mile, but like just seeing the end of it, like everything's so shiny and nice and clean. Instant kill alt, yeah.
Indeed.
All right. So what's your 2 cents on the pros, or do you wanna give us the overall insight on him?
Now, as you explained, I'm coming at this with slight bias.
Yeah, I always start that like, and just so y'all know on YouTube when you watch this later, he is a Drogoz main. I did say that, like, so he's gonna
I
have a
I
slight bias, just a little bit.
I am legitimately like one of the best Drogoz mains in the game currently.
So, what would be
Like
your overall
stat
insight on
wise.
him, just in general? Describe him as you would if you were announcing Drogoz as like a new character, right? Like, describe him as a whole.
Ooh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You
I'm
wanted
gonna
the stage,
say,
you get the stage,
yep. I
right?
would probably say Drogoz is a champion that has a lot of benefits, but a lot of risks.
mm, I like that.
He can be such a powerful force in the game if given the right support and the right circumstances. But he can also struggle if things do not go the way as intended.
I see. I'm gonna
He
put.
is by far the most one of the most versatile damage champions in the game and has a lot uh so, and I would say he has a very high skill ceiling.
Mm-hmm. The high skill ceiling part, I'm gonna put in like the cons
Yeah,
because I usually that's usually one of the things based on previous ones we've done. We put it in the cons.
yeah. He like, and I can explain on this part. It's
Go ahead.
because you have I I see Drogoz as three different play styles. You have the ones that is hold W, I'ma get in your face, I'ma hit all my rockets, right?
Right. Yeah.
You have a Drogoz where, and this is me, where I don't do anything until my team does something. So I'm a little bit more stay with the group, try not to solo that kind of stuff.
You're like
And then
providing
you have,
backline support almost.
yeah, or like if I see like a Zen or an Indro or one of my tanks going forward, I'm going forward with them. So it's always a 2-on-1.
So it's a symbiotic play style. Like you're very much dependent on that second or third person to be
Yeah,
pushing in.
and that's usually how I play.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I see a lot of
there's
that.
some other there's some other notable Drogoses out there, like Inferno Drogos. She is the first one. She's super aggressive and she goes forward a lot. She doesn't usually play safe, but she plays high ground. If that makes sense. But
Oh
it's
yeah,
still an
she's who I
aggressive style.
learned how to play Drogoz from. So I was very much like at the time that I learned her playstyle, nobody was playing worm jets like that. Like, and people would
Yeah,
call it out. They'd be like, "You learned from her." Like they would say it. Like, "Oh, another
like
infernal." Like it
and
became known.
even though for sidetrack, even though for me my main talent is combustible, I use all three because I've learned that certain talents are better against certain team comps,
You want to
and
get
I
into
just
that a little
play.
bit detail. Like I
Yeah,
want you to explain that because that's a very good point you just said. All talents are good. Some people have said like against that. They try to debate me on that.
yeah.
I personally think he does have all three good talents.
I'm gonna finish my original thing first.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have the uber aggressive, you have the I'm a stated team, and then you have the backline Drogos. You have the passive ones. They
Mm-hmm.
try to use they are a lot on utility, and they try to not show themselves as much, knowing the moment they show they die.
That's true.
So those are like the less confident Drogos. You can kind of see that. when you see them play because they usually fly backwards a lot.
Yeah, that's me. I'm never confident in my fucking Drogoz gameplay at all. But I know how to manage my what is it called? Like
Yeah,
not just air control, but the thrusters. Like I build my cards around that.
yeah. I'm gonna do the talent stuff first. I'm gonna go with the pros first,
Okay.
since
Well,
now
pros and
pros.
cons is everything, so it's not just talent
Yeah,
based.
yeah, yeah. Pros, best mobility and damage class. I I
That
think
those are
that
Nova's
that is true. I
intel,
think
but
that's
yeah.
legitimately true because if I look at the damage class, right?
Hmm.
Let me pull it up.
Now, is this based off
Um,
of per second or just in general? We never get that intricate with this, but also it's hard not to do.
yeah. So like, let's go down a bit. Let me head to the different classes. I have the wiki open.
Yeah. Oh, good, because I have it open, but it's on my other screen, hiding behind something.
Yeah. So like, out of all of them, he definitely has the most mobility.
Hmm.
I would say like the second closest would be Bomb King or Willow, but like
Hmm.
that's really it because a lot of the damage champions are usually very stationary. They
Hmm.
they're kind of slow unless you're fucking Cassie going X action. Then fuck you.
Right. Right. And we never really, that's what I say. It's good to mention it in the podcast, but on paper, if you see this, guys, do not look at this and be like, oh, okay, great. And then you get fucked by an exaction Cassie. That's not my fault. Like, let that be it. I'm so glad you said that. Throw the disclaimer in there because you don't want to lead people astray.
But fundamentally, like a pure base kit, he does have the most mobility in the
Mm.
game, and something that he can do that Villa or Octavia cannot do is use vertical mobility.
Yeah.
And
Well,
anybody
Tavia's
who
jump
ever
is pretty
faced,
vertical. I don't
I can say
know.
this, anyone who ever faced a Drogoz going rum jets or played Splitstone, you know how much of a pain it is to worry about someone shooting down at you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on maps like Splitstone, Stone Keep is another one, and I'll argue Sip and Beach. Like all of those have very vertical elements that newer players, and even sometimes
You wouldn't
experienced players
count
have a
Bright
hard
Marsh
time
in that
doing.
because I've seen people abuse on there too.
Well,
Or is that
but
not
at
what
least
you're
with
talking
at least
about?
with yeah, at least with like the vertical stuff on
Mm.
Bright Marsh, is at most the roof or like the little balcony that is
Yeah.
the center point in the spawns.
So that's not
Otherwise,
necessarily the
everything else
same.
is
I see what you're saying.
yeah,
It's not really. It's similar, but it's not quite the same vertical mobility you're describing.
yeah,
I
and
see.
those are very predict. Oh my fuck.
You're fine.
Predictable paths there.
Mm.
Because on Bright Marsh, that little balcony that most people, like the Koga, we usually like climb up and go around on, right? Like that is a C curve. You can predict where they're going, and it's in the open. They have no fallback.
Wait.
Meanwhile, if you
Mhm.
could do something like that on like Seven Beach, you have different hallways. You have a bridge that connects two entire
Wait, Nova had a
buildings.
good question. Do bugs count like the double thrust bug? See, I don't want to get too much into the bugs when we do this
I
because, yeah.
but I talked to my friend about this, and I have a
Mhm.
friend like he manages to use like these kind of bugs.
Mhm.
Now I would say this: there's a bug that with Drogoz is kind of weird because he has a lot of it, and it's all about slopes and how the game encoding how does the game register movement as you fly. It's weird. The best way I can explain it, and I think this would be a pro, is that Drogoz has a lot of text that uses the game code in its favor.
I see. So.
I definitely think that's a pro.
I've arrived.
Oh, I was like, please get in the VC because I'm seeing your stuff
Yeah,
late. I'm
I figured
sorry.
figured chatting was good.
A little
So what
delayed.
you were saying, Trinity, with the text, is a good bit of those are kind of like Grover Tech, whereas now it's called Grover Tech, but in the past it was just a bug, and
Yeah.
the devs kind of left it. So
I-
it kind of depends where you really draw that line, you know.
Right. That's why I was
Drogoz
like, do
has
we
a
want to
lot of
include
bugs.
that? Because Frog was
Drogoz is
showing me
one
that
of
one
I can show you
clip.
some.
That
I
clip.
have a friend who
Mhm.
I don't know how he does it. He does it better than me. He's more consistent at this. I can literally show
The one
you
that shoots you
specifically-
forward.
Yeah, let me hold on, let me show. No, it's not that one. Like,
Oh.
there's some crazy ones.
Because
The
Frog
one
showed me
shoots in
that,
the air
and that
or
shit
the
was stinky.
hyper momentum bug.
Both of them.
Is it both? Yeah. So there's one specific bug with Drogoz. It's a FPS based, So there's a certain threshold of FPS around, it's 220 to 230 is the sweet spot where Drogoz accelerates his momentum past the movement speed cap. And it's
Like-
purely based on frame rate. So if
And
you
you-
spam your
yeah.
space bar as fast as you can on like 230 FPS, there's a slight chance every single time you hit the space bar that you're going to hit the ceiling, like instantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to accelerate your thruster momentum and throw you into the ceiling at max velocity.
Yes,
Same thing as hitting a roof.
I have
And
clips of this. Like,
It's freak accident. Like, it's not something you can control. It just happens.
That's
But I
actually
know
very
that-
similar to Dauntless.
I
Yeah.
can actually hold on.
You know what I'm
literally-
talking about.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about.
You'll
So
randomly hit a behemoth. You'll hit you
Yeah,
with
it shoots you
Yeah.
straight up, dude.
yes.
That's
Now-
exactly what I thought about.
And you can. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna post some stuff. If you look
Mhm.
in the Paladins chat in the Discord.
You already posted it?
No. So this first one is what you is one of the texts I'm talking about.
Wait, let me go
So
to
you
it.
can show this on stream, and like he does this so consistently. But this one is about using his salvo and timing his salvo knockback with a downward.
I see what you did there. I saw what you did there, yeah.
Yeah, and what it does.
Oh,
is that-
Frog's here. Let's go. I'm so hoping you'd arrive. Frog
It's
said,
Frog,
is
yes.
that...
Yes,
Frog's like,
this
is that
is
number
Frog.
2
This is-
Drogoz
yes,
guy?
this is Frog. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Julie, I'm gonna
Frog is known for
I'm gonna
this.
use your stuff because you do this 10 times better than me. Okay.
Same here. Frog is the one that taught me how to do it.
Yeah, Frog.
still
Listen,
not as good
Justin
at it,
loves
but
listening to
Frog's
Frog
so
talk about
consistent.
Drogo stuff. I could listen to it all day long. I mean, they've posted so much good content in my Discord. If you guys ever want to go look,
Julie, I'm gonna like.
I knew
I'm
Frog
a
would show
glazy.
up.
I was waiting for Frog because I was like, wait, we're
This-
talking about
no, no, no,
Drogos.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Did
yeah.
you text them?
This podcast would be Trinity Glazes Miss Frog to be able to do hop text. Okay. This is what
Basically.
it's gonna turn into.
Basically.
Yeah, Frog is a mastermind with that stuff. I don't know how
Okay,
they do
so
it.
I'm gonna tell you, Julie tried to teach me before, but this is before I got my PC upgrade. I can probably, you might have to reteach me because I haven't practiced it at all in a long
Yeah.
time.
So,
But like,
you can get the hang of it
he-
easy in training range.
yeah, because we literally, I remember this, and Julie can agree. We spent like a whole 15
Yeah, I haven't
minutes
seen
working
Mr. Frog
on
in a while.
goddamn MS Paint, going through the math of how that works.
I met
Oh my
Mrs.
goodness.
Frog after you, Dippy. And it's so funny because I didn't realize we all basically ran the same circles. But, like, I met them through Nova,
can you,
I
like,
believe.
Kat, can you sit down?
Yeah, I introduced you to
Yeah.
him and Seth.
Mm.
In case you didn't know, Miss Frog, aka Julie's old boss, was in the same competitive team that I was. When
I did a
we were
Google
doing
Doc
tournaments.
online web document for Nova. Frog, you're so
Yeah.
considerate. Oh my god. That's so
But yeah,
awesome.
No, they did. They did.
But yeah, me and Miss Frog was on the same tournament team, so we.
I
fought
believe it. I've
way
seen
too
you
much.
two play. I've played with both of you. I mean, if there was anyone, that's why I was nervous that nobody was kind of coming, but I also did start late. Because I was like, I really need you guys to help guide me through this because I only know what I know. You guys know so much more than me.
Yeah, and going back to the pros that
Uh-huh.
I just mentioned, like stuff like the clip I showed you, and Miss Frog has a whole goddamn fucking Google Doc
Yeah.
about it. There's so much tech stuff.
You
that
gotta
can
link me
do
that.
very high players can do consistently.
That's what I'm saying. I've
Now-
seen people do it consistent. I want to get to
Now,
that point.
I would give this is my 2 cents.
Hmm.
Most of these high players have a firm belief that they have to do all of these things every single match just to have good stuff.
Hmm.
And
That is true. Yes.
there is some Drogoz
I have
names
met them.
and some content creators out there, I'm not going to say who follow this behavior. I'm not going to call them out because that's not what I'm here to do.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you know that this is a common thing. If you see my gameplay, you played with me,
Yeah.
I rarely do any of those stuff.
Right. Yeah, you have your
I
own way.
rarely do that because it's just a playstyle that I'm more used to. And if I start adapting to it, yes, am I probably going to win more matches? Probably. But for me personally, I don't feel satisfied that I've showcased raw skill on the champion that I've been maining for the past 7.5 years.
Felt that, yeah.
So it's more of an intrinsic motivation to not do that stuff consistently.
Yes, Frog, give me one moment. Hold on. Can one of you two speak just so I can... Make sure they
Test
can
one,
hear you.
two.
Is that better,
Oh,
Froggy?
I'm guessing they're pretty quiet.
Yo.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not on my computer. Like I said, my carpet is wet, and I
You're
don't want
fine.
to dirty it.
When I start the stream,
And
my music be loud, so I think I might have turned my overall mixer down too much. So just let me know if that's too loud or loud enough, Frog, for them too. A little bit more.
My cat.
A
Oh
little
my
bit
goodness.
more. A little bit more.
Guys, my cat is laying right next to me. Oh my goodness.
Give her best hugs for me. Oh my god, my cat's sleeping
Oh
on my
my
robe.
goodness, I love the kitty.
Oh, there was another bug I wanted to bring up.
Oh, what is this one?
I guess it's technically considered Grover Tech now, but it's the bug with his cooldown reset card of thrust when he gets low HP.
No worries, Frog.
Because
Survival?
normally how it works, I think it's survival. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Essentially
survival.
how it works, when you get low HP, it'll refund the cooldown into your thrust. However,
I'm good, Panda.
because
We're in the
Drogoz is
middle of
old as
recording a
Father
podcast.
Time, his doesn't do that. It actually gives you a second charge of it. So essentially, you have 2 charges of thrust instead of 1 that can be
Oh,
used
wow.
simultaneously, and you can store them to hold 2. Yeah, you just got to get low HP. So I love running that card at like +4, +5, just so I can have that
Yeah,
like
Panda.
on deck whenever
Go
I
on my
need it.
YouTube. There's
And
like
Oh yes,
20
yes.
plus episodes posted.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. So this
we used to
is.
do it every week, but now we do it every other week.
I didn't even know this was bug. I just thought this was mechanic.
You're welcome to
I'm
join if
not
you
gonna
want.
lie. I just always thought this
it's
was
like Grover
mechanic.
Tech. No, it's not supposed to be a mechanic.
Okay,
It's supposed
okay.
to refund the cooldown.
But I
To
know
my
exactly what you're
that's
talking
how
about.
the guy that Todd explained to me. I
Mhm.
don't
Yeah,
remember his
so-
name. I wish I did. He showed up in my streams once, like a ghost. It wasn't Frog. It wasn't Julius. Or it wasn't. I said the same person. It wasn't anybody that I know.
Right.
But it was some Drogoz main that said, "Yes, I'm one of the top Drogoz players in the world. I've been consistently top on the leaderboards. I'm a Drogoz main. Here's this one tip I'm going to give you that'll send you into the sky
Damn.
with like the best thing you can do." And he said, "Here's a bug," and he was one of the people you mentioned, Trini, that's like they feel they have to use all the bugs they can in
Mhm.
order to like progress. And he said that he uses everything he can.
Meanwhile, I was
Like,
farming
every
Mystic Launcher
little
on
bit of
Con
it.
the other day, so.
Right.
Yeah, but he basically said like, yeah, he uses everything in the book and he's
Mhm.
completely unstoppable in most scenarios. But that's the one bug. That's
Yeah.
the one thing he uses above all else, like the most consistent as possible. It's
So,
just the double thrust.
just
He
to
says
dumb it
the
down
best
for
thing in
y'all,
his whole kit.
what it basically happens is that when you are low HP, if you run survival, specifically if you run survival, it has to be trigger and a threshold. Normally, survival has an internal cooldown,
Mhm.
and your thrust normally does not overlap. Think of it as like an EV teleport
Mhm.
or like an endo dash. No, endo
Mhm.
dash can refund that stuff. So when you have thrust on cooldown, let's say you just used it, you get healed, and then you get below low HP directly again. If your cooldown of your base reset happens to come before the actual trigger, you would get 2 charges.
That's insane.
Sort of, but not exactly what I'm talking about. It's way simpler than that. It's literally let's say you don't use your thrust, right? And then you go to 50% HP, which is the cap for the survival.
Mhm.
If you're
just
running
get
at
a
at
charge.
5 points, I
Yeah,
usually
you're running
run
5
survival
points.
at 3. That's the rule of thumb.
You
is 3
you
points.
get a second charge. Like it doesn't show you. It's not visual at all. But you have a second thrust. Like even if it doesn't show it, it's like even
So
if
it
you
won't
have your
say it,
thrust
but you're
on
gonna
cooldown-
feel it.
No, it won't say it, but you're going to have it.
Oh,
it is a
that's
second
so
cooldown for you to
crazy.
use. You don't have to have it on cooldown. It can be completely off cooldown. Like you can use it at any point, but if you drop below the threshold, you get a second charge instantly. There's no wraparound. There's no bugs you have
Question:
to do. It
Is
just
that
happens.
in general or talent based?
Not it's in general.
General.
It's completely
Oh,
in general.
shit.
because it's
As
based
As long
on
as you have
the
the
card.
It's
Okay.
basically
Oh,
the
so it's a
card.
card based. Oh my god, that's so
It's-
stinky.
It's just a survival card.
I need to
So
test
you
that.
can have your thrust and then go to like 500 HP, and then now you have 2 thrusts, and it works really well in 1v1s because you can thrust towards them while you're getting low. Pop your second thrust as it's going, and boom, you have the bonus mobility.
I
Or
think
don't
I've
even
done-
do that. Go in with one, go low, pop the other when you're low.
I
know?
think I've
Just
done
say-
this accidentally in games before. Well, I mean, there may be times where I'm trying to, let's say there's a Androx trying to go
Mhm.
after me, and I
Mhm.
had to survive a card. I would usually thrust, knowing I get low, shoot again, hit the threshold, and thrust back the other way, and it Indro is just so confused because they're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, it's
Right.
a double thrust.
This dude
and
just
it's a
bounced
bug.
back and forth like twice in a matter of seconds.
Right. Oh my
And
god.
it's the funnest things to do.
It's super good on Drogoz, but and to my understanding, it's considered basically the same as Grover Tech or Vine Tech at this point.
Okay.
So I believe you're free to use it willingly. I mean, I'm pretty sure every Drogoz and High Elo uses it, like every single one of them, including like extremely popular streamers. Even if it's unintentional, like it's been in
like
use
if you're paying
for
attention and
a
you're watching them
long
play,
time.
you're gonna see it.
If you're paying attention, you're going to see it.
That's
like
insane.
even some of the best
Well, I've
streamers,
always
like,
felt
you
like
will
I've
notice
I've
it.
seen people do it, but I sometimes I just assume it's a visual.
I will
bug,
say
like-
that if you want to utilize a tech that isn't like abusing a bug or anything, and that's just purely mastering how the upward thrust move, you can do
Mhm.
roof clipping. So basically, if you are at a threshold, like a doorway, right?
Mhm.
If you thrust up and and spam tap your spacebar, you can clip your head collision box will clip onto a door frame, and instead of going up, you go slightly forward more and you go faster.
Don't think I've used that one before.
I use it all the time. It's so,
So that's
cool
just, like, free
because
like,
if I'm
mobility.
like, let's say on Bright Marsh, like
Mhm.
on apartment side,
Mhm.
you have the door that goes to the fountain, and you have the point that's either to the right or left, depending where you spawn. But you have the fountain area. If I'm in there and I know they're watching me, I would usually intentionally go up to it. Like I would hover against the roof, drop down a little bit, and when I thrust, I clip my head against the door frame. And instead of going up more, I go more horizontal, just slightly.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I
That's-
build up my
ah,
speed,
I
so
get it,
yeah.
yeah.
I can't escape from there.
That's
So
wild.
you're essentially using it to just redirect your momentum forward instead
Yes.
of upwards. You're just
You
kind
have-
of
you
canceling
have
out the upward
to-
momentum.
You have
Yeah, I
to.
get what
It's hard to time because the moment you land
Okay.
and then thrust, you have to feather your. You have to hold it down the moment it clips, but then the moment you go past the door frame, you have to feather your fuel.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Frog does the momentum thing with salvo. You just gotta feather it and maintain like a little bit of height above the ground, and you should be good. That reminds me of
Oh,
a
wow.
Bug, not a Bug, sorry, a Tech.
Let me watch that again.
It's not actually a bug. It's a Tech that I learned recently that I've never knew in my 200 levels of Vora, and I'm gonna start calling it like Vora Vine Tech or Ricochet Tech. But if Vora essentially uses her tendril to hit a wall, she
Mhm.
can bounce off of that wall and
That's
completely
kinda
change
wild.
momentum and hold the majority of it still. So you can tendril forward, bounce off the wall, and go backwards as if
But
you
yeah,
tendril backwards, basically.
But yeah, but what Miss Frog just showed right there, which
Yeah.
if Nova agrees that's what he's talking about, that's it's doing it intended, because if you notice, his thing is off of cooldown, right? He thrusts, it triggers, and you can thrust again.
Yeah, and you have a second thrust. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's,
so it's not visual,
that's
but
the
you have
talent
the second
working.
charge.
Yeah, that's the talent working as intended because it preloads your thrust once you hit the refresh.
Mm.
It's one of the
So
rare exceptions in the
so-
cards. He's so
Yeah.
old.
And so
That's just how
like
they go.
Yeah.
that's why I was giving the comparison to Indoor Dash. Indoor Dash does the exact same thing.
Mhm.
Let's say if you're running power, I think it's Power of the Abyss that gives you reset on your thrust on your dash after hit reversal. If you were to use 2 charges, hit your Power of the Abyss, you get that charge, but then it overclocks it because you got the reset from Power of the Abyss and you have 2 more. It's the same idea with this, where you have it, it stores it, and you can use it again right afterwards.
Yeah, it's good
That
stuff.
is actually insane. I need to try
Yeah.
that. Oh, we
And
need to
since I
add
learned
some
that,
cons
I've
too.
never taken survival out of my build.
If you're going to add a con to Drogoz, I would say
Half
that
the roster counters them.
Oh
no,
yeah.
80% of 85% of the roster counts him. Like,
Yeah.
most
Bullied by everybody
if it's not in hell, even Eevees counter Drogoz. Like
because they can't
I-
hit him unless you catch him off guard.
Yeah.
yes. Like the only champions that legitimately do not counter Drogoz in any capacity would be Bomb King. Bomb King would be one of them. Um, I would argue Ying is one of them because you can just farm. You can farm your resets on her,
Mm-hmm.
and you can just ignore it for the ult because why would you try to ult Ying? That's fucking stupid. I will also argue Grok because you can use the totems for resets. Fun fact: totems count as entities. So if we have a Salvo reset build, you can literally farm. You can literally farm the Grok totems and you get the resets. You don't even. He doesn't even have to be there. You just get the reset.
Fucking Tiny Tim. Missed opportunity to call it pros and cons. To spell it like con.
Yeah.
Tim is not a draw
I agree-
counter.
I agree with
Yeah,
Frog.
no.
Tiberius, not really, because Tiberius is slow. He's clunky.
Mhm.
Now, unless the Tiberius is running a double pounce build,
Yeah, I was gonna say
and
I
is
can
pretty
because
good at
it's
recalling his sword, then
Yeah.
it's like
I'm gonna say
you-
unless
you
the
can do
Drogoz
anything.
is one of you guys, I shit on Drogoz as usually.
I would also argue Torvald as well. I don't think Torvald is.
Well, who's flying that
Torvald
close to a
is-
Torv? Like you're just setting
Yeah,
yourself
Torv
up.
is not a Drogoz counter.
Yeah.
Drogoz would farm Torv.
Imani and the Dragon Wall and all. Oh yeah, bruh. Yeah, doesn't
Yeah.
counter. Sky doesn't
I would
counter
say like with
Drog.
Sky, you just a good Drogoz player, or at least a high elo.
Mm-hmm.
You should know what Sky is at all times, or have a
Yeah,
rough idea. So like if
yeah.
I'm playing Drogoz, I can hear you can hear Sky going invisible. Fun fact, you can hear
Mhm.
when she pops her invisible.
Yeah.
You can hear her across the map.
You can
She's
hear
one of the
everything.
loudest
like-
points
Yeah.
in the game.
And
Yeah.
I would say this as a con, and you can
I
add
agree,
this as
Frog.
like a skill ceiling part on the skill ceiling category. You have to have good map awareness for Drogoz.
Yeah.
It's not even a question. One of the cons with Drogoz is that you have to have map awareness and map knowledge.
Camp understanding as well. Drogoz is not very new player friendly in the slightest. He's just not. It's pretty
I-
brutal.
Really? I mean, yeah.
His concept is simple, but to make it consistent, it's not.
I mean, you could say Eevee's concept is simple, but like to make it effective is different.
Oh yeah,
I-
100%.
Now, personally, for me, I found Eevee like piss easy to learn. Like even like
What?
her pre-dash, her pre-blinks, like timing her
There's-
abilities, the cycling. I personally
think-
found her easy.
I think there's a difference between, personally for me at least, easy to learn and easy to perform with. I learned Eevee easy. Bleh, English. I learned Eevee pretty easily as
Mm,
well. It was a pretty simple concept once I had
Mm.
gotten good enough at the game.
I
Like
agree.
okay, yeah, sure, this
To
is pretty
perform
easy to
well
understand.
though.
To perform well
Yeah.
is different.
Yeah.
Like I can perform 10, 20 times better on Vora than I could ever on.
100%. Okay, I
I can play
understand
it-
that.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
meanwhile, I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I like if you put me on Vora, we're probably losing. Like we're probably
about right.
losing.
Damn.
I don't know, like with Vora, I don't know how to use the stacks correctly. I just don't. I don't know how to utilize the stacks.
Would you
That's
like
my
a quick
issue.
little tip with managing your
Um,
stacks?
Later.
No, it's super simple. I promise. Don't manage them. Just spam.
Just
Don't
spam.
even worry about it. Don't even worry
How
about
do you
your
Vora? You don't.
stacks. You just don't. It's one of the biggest issues. People are like hoarding those things like their life depends on it. Like it really doesn't. Farm the tank, shoot the support. It's not difficult.
I was,
It's opportunistic. Otherwise, don't even matter. Don't matter at all.
I'm gonna tell you, as a Drogoz main, one of the most frustrating front lines to go against is Azan.
Mhm.
Because you literally cannot do shit against an Azan if he's half one pocket.
Yeah.
You're just gonna, you can't do anything.
You can annoy him, but then he'll just kill you.
His self heal and his DR and his HP, and the fact he can knock you back 2 ways, which fucks up your movement. Like,
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
do anything against him.
That stun
legitimately can't.
is actually stink.
Yeah, like Azan is one of the best Drogoz counters in the game, and I
Mm.
would die on his tail.
Damn.
Like he legitimately is one of the best counters.
Do you want to add anything to either the pros or cons before we end it?
I would say con with Drogoz is I will argue that Drogoz have one of the weakest versatility of cards.
Mm.
He's pretty one-dimensional on cards. Yeah.
Yeah, like card wise, like
HP and survival is like the biggest
like-
thing that you can run.
you, for example, 2 of his salvo cards are legitimately useless.
Tim.
Like salvo reset and fuel on salvo hits are actually useless. Like there's no point to run those cards because you're never gonna be put in a situation where they're useful. It's
Yeah.
just not gonna happen.
Yeah. No one's
And
gonna give
so,
you that
like,
opportunity.
If you go against a lot of top players, including me, and you would look at my Drogoz deck, you're gonna see at most 8 different cards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the cold reality. Now I have a few meme builds that I use on very, very situational movements, but like there's almost no versatility card rise.
Yeah.
How my Drogoz as well. Like it's the same, maybe 6.
Yeah. And
You
like
know,
the
depending on if I run combustible or fusillade.
Mm-hmm.
and Miss Frog, I agree. And I hope they bring it back or at least change the cards.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's a hot take that I would love. I want to the card that gives you fuel on your salvo replace fuel percentage with DR. Then
That
we're
wouldn't be
cooking.
bad because it would
Then
help
we're
with the
cooking.
counter situation.
Drogoz with DR sounds
So the more
terrifying, though.
salvo,
It does sound so
the more
terrifying.
DR you get.
Oh no,
Look,
but
I know how good Drogoz can be in the right
I
hands.
know,
Drogoz with
I know.
DR,
I said that without
ah.
thinking.
Fun fact, no. If I remember correctly, I think Drogoz is the only champion in the game that
That
has
doesn't have innate DR.
only
I don't-
damage
don't-
champion in a game that doesn't have a card, a talent, or ability that gives you damage reduction. He has
I don't
0.
think Cassie does. Does Cassie have one? Or am I crazy? I don't think Cassie has one.
No.
Unless I'm just tripping balls here, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't have a DR based card as well. It's because they're
No.
from roughly like the same time frame within the game.
Yeah.
Because like DR wasn't a very popular thing.
I
around
heard
the
that
game's
that was
conception.
later on, right? That wasn't
would also
early
would
Yeah,
on.
DR
argue
started getting
that-
added way later.
Yeah.
And on top of the cards thing, as a
That would
con,
be
like,
fucking
he-
scary too. DR
Drogoz
Cassie,
has
please.
Almost, yeah, I would say you can add this to con. Drogoz has little to no self-sustain.
That's true. Yeah, he really
Yeah.
doesn't.
He only has 2 hero cards,
Same thing, just
and
outdated
both of them
character.
and one of them is ass, and one of them I actually use, which is lung capacity, but I use it. Not lung. Is it lung capacity? Or is
Lung
it?
capacity is heal on spit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's the one I'm talking about. That one is actually kind of useful if you're running combustible build. Like if you're running masterful with that, you're good. But like, it's only 200.
It's not worth.
Like it's not. It's worth in like 1v1 scenarios, or you're playing passive. But the moment you get aggression on you, yes, you can still get value, but it's a lot harder to make it work.
Right.
I forced myself to learn how to make it work.
Yeah, yeah.
But and yes, Drogoz's hitbox is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I was about to mention that actually.
This
He's
hitbox
built
is
like a
stupid.
brick house.
So that's a con.
I have a funny clip. I'm gonna
Built
show
like
y'all.
a brick
Hold up.
house is crazy.
Nah, I have a
He's
clip.
just wide.
I
He's
have a
wide
clip.
and
Let me
short.
sh-
He's so easy to hit. It's like, how could you resist? You
No,
know?
How could
I
you
need
Even low
resist?
elo players are like, man, that is an easy target right there.
No.
True.
let me find this clip.
You're not wrong.
It's like the same itch as seeing a ROM when you're low elo, like on Tyrant. It's like you have to shoot it. Like you
Oh,
can't help
yeah.
yourself. It has to happen. It's so easy.
Honestly,
It's
that's
free
me
damage.
with a ROM that has no unbound or anything, you know? Like, I can just...
Yeah,
fine.
you just gotta CC them. You have
Yeah.
to.
I
Man,
think it was-
I see you.
I think this clip is done on a 24-hour stream. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Cause this
Another
was
one?
some bullshit stuff.
another con I want to bring up is his headshot hitbox is akin to Pip's, in which it's like it feels like it's the majority of his hitbox.
Bruh.
He's one of the few champions I look at and it's like, yeah, I can definitely headshot him at any distance with
The
any
new
character.
Nimble is going to help
That's so
Drogoz
free.
a lot, though. I was going to ask you guys about that. So how do you feel about that change coming up with the new
New
Nimble?
Nimble?
Mm-hmm.
It's
What are the changes about it?
terrifying. It's going from 7% scaling to 10% scaling.
What the fuck?
So it's gonna be 30% max instead of 21%.
That sounds
Oh
horrible.
my god, I
Yeah,
cannot
that sounds
wait.
terrible. Like that actually is very worrying.
They're gonna nerf it as soon as it like Justin was already saying
It's
something
gonna
about
take
it
for a
being
while.
nerfed before it even comes live.
Oh, for sure. It'll probably get chalked down to like 8% or
Yeah.
9% at the max, but there's no way they're gonna do a full 10. That's just
Could you imagine,
not.
bro? Like, oh my god. That's like our
I would
customs.
not be happy.
It's literally our
I would
customs.
absolutely not be happy.
Might as well make it 160%.
Absolutely not.
Oh yeah. Here's a clip from a launch bug that you mentioned earlier, where you just like skyrocket. Like look at
Oh,
how
the vertical one.
Yeah. This is the funniest thing ever. Like the timing just happened to work.
Yeah, it just happens
Hold on.
with like it's like RNG pressing your spacebar. There's
Oh
no
my God.
consistency.
Why does this look so crappy?
The
Wait.
best bug ever.
Let me go
It's
to the
Twitch
actual
stuff.
clip.
It's
No,
just
but
like-
I watched it
Yeah.
like by clicking it, and I think it's just better to like load it up. And then change this. Oh, what's that? Okay, never mind. It's just Twitch being Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch does that to VODs as well. It's
I
really
hate
annoying.
that.
Like this was so
Yeah.
accidental. So what happened was that I got the launch up bug right as Nyx ulted, and I died.
Oh
I landed on
shit.
top.
Yeah, there's no thrust used. It was just Nyx just launching him in the air.
It was so funny. I'm like, holy
Yeet!
shit,
I've had that happen to me on Willow.
I'm
Like I got stunned as I was trying to go up and ult. I forgot who ulted me.
I don't remember exactly how Frog explained it to me, but it can happen on a lot of champions.
Yeah, because I
It's
didn't know
not
how to
just
react because
perfect.
I've never had that happen to me. So like I was surprised and I ended up getting my ult and surviving, but I was so confused 'cause I didn't know that could happen on her. Like I've seen that happen on different people,
Yeah.
but I just didn't think that it could happen on her.
Drogoz, I'm pretty sure, is the only champion in the game that can consistently do it for himself without the use of outside sources. Because I believe me and Frog were talking about a bug that launches you based on hitting your spacebar while being hit with a blaster projectile, and it has the ability to do the exact same thing to you.
Yeah, that's sick. All right, I think this is good. We're at 47 minutes, which that's not bad. Normally we'd be like at an hour, an hour and a half.
I'm gonna think of another pro. Hold on.
Another pro.
Let's see, best mobility in class, best damage and damage class.
Someone said something about consistent,
Sure.
like overall consistency.
Insta-kill ultimate, Drogoz
Oh,
tag.
I was saying that. Yeah, his
Yeah.
DPS is probably one of the most consistent of the entire category for sure.
I'm gonna
I
put.
can see that. I also would argue that Drogoz has one of the best cycling when it comes to utility out of the damage class.
Repeat that one more time.
Like Drogoz can cycle his abilities better than most of the damage.
Oh, I know
class.
what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, think of it like this. You know how Leon has her insta-kill combo,
Yeah.
where she
Yeah.
shoots, pops an ability, shoots, pops an ability, and she goes through all three of them.
Yeah.
Drogoz is capable of using each of his abilities individually to a point where you're never fully on cooldown with all three of them.
I would say Imani is one of the ones that beats him on that, because Imani's whole kit
That's
is
a little
based around.
unfair.
No, but Imani's entire kit is designed to cycle. Like that's
Yeah.
That's
her
why I put
entire kit.
most. I didn't put all. I just worded it
Yeah.
as most because that could. Some of this stuff is situational and niche based, and I want to stress that for those that end up watching it on YouTube for later on. Like if you try, and you're listening to all this, like, okay, I want to try this. Keep in mind, you never know what you're going up against unless you're like. Doing
Yes,
rank.
the fair and balanced. The fair and balanced.
Salvo spit combo.
If you got only OGs will understand the term fair and balanced and who invented that. Only OGs would know.
The point
The
is,
most toxic Drogoz mate to ever exist on this game. The one and only Helvian.
hey Raze.
I'm sorry, yeah, I was doing Fortnite.
Oh, no worries.
Well,
Yeah, I heard it. What was it? The last day to get the Juice WRLD skin?
It's the concert thing they're doing today.
Oh,
They're doing like the live little concert thing they do from time
Yeah.
to time with events. Yeah, that was a really nice homage to. Juice
I've heard of
WRLD.
Helvian.
Wait, what's Helvian's new name? I need to know this. What is Helvian's new name?
Damn.
I don't think I've met them. but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the random Drogoz that visited me on stream.
I would say
was hot seat. I have nothing to say about that.
I would say Helvian was an
Right.
OG player. He played consistently, and he was regarded as one of the better Drogoz mains in like 2018, 2020. Is he top? No, he's not. Is he top G? No shot. He's top G.
I feel like people that are coming
Wait,
in
just 2 top Gs.
to
two
the
top Gs
game
in
now
this
don't understand how powerful Drogoz truly is. That was one
You
thing I was gonna
have
bring up
this top
earlier
G,
because people
and
that
that's
I agree,
Julian,
you know what I'm saying, like
and then you
people
have
always
this top
feel
G,
like they can take on a Drogoz until they
which is a
can't.
random.
I feel like that's the best
Yeah.
way to describe that.
No,
Like
top G is Julian.
you literally,
That should be.
you just
I
never
think it's
know.
Julian.
Because I'm the same way.
It's
I'm
'cause
like, oh,
most
I could take
Drogos
this
aren't
guy.
that good.
And it's true. Like I've diffed the other
'Cause
day.
he's just
Matter of
hard to
fact,
get into.
I made a friend yesterday. If you guys remember that if you remember what was it yesterday? I made friends with the Drogoz because he admitted that I could 1v1 him as Willow, and it was funny. It was so funny. Like he saved his ult for me. We had 2 tanks on our team, and he ignored them for me every time. I was so mad about
Beautiful.
it, dude. But we had similar damage. We both had 87k, and it was like a short game because we both had like teammates that just weren't as good. So like you could very
Yeah.
well tell it was just us. It was the best.
Absolutely deserved
It was honestly the best air fight I've had in a long time. The other was the Andro I was air fighting with the other day. But yeah, no, who was it? Mondi just said something. I don't see a lot of Drogoz these days. Yeah, agreed. I don't. And when you do, it's literally hit or miss. They're either really, really good and they're quiet about that.
I
Or-
can 100% agree to this.
Yeah.
I can't. The amount of times I've been pissed off that someone stole my Drogoz and
And they play it like shit in front of you. Yeah. I bet it's irritating as hell.
The most frustrating thing you can do as a Drogoz is to get the spit size card. I'm like, why? Why? I've seen Drogoz's play with that shit at like a 5. I'm like, why the fuck are you playing with it at
Very goofy card.
I'm like, boy.
Alright,
Oh my
alright.
God.
I've paid my welcome. I have work tonight.
No
do it.
worries. Yeah, I get some
I'll still
sleep.
be here.
My 2 cents and have fun.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
no
But,
Thanks for
worries.
the talk. I really appreciate it, bud.
I learned all of my Drogue stuff from Frog, and they're in chat, so you're in good hands.
Yeah. Well, we
Definitely
pretty much
that.
got everything because I don't really go too long either with this. We still have to include a different topic. So the way I do my podcast is the champion hot tea is half of the segment, and then the other half of the segment is, which I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the new patch to kind of release, and then we're going to discuss the new patch. So I'm waiting for that to come
Is
out.
it today?
I don't know.
Wait, am I tripping balls?
No, it's not today. I'm saying I'm waiting for it
Oh,
though.
thank God.
No. Well, is it today? Today's the 30th.
Well, there's the one 3 days ago that was the experimental one.
Right.
And it's available on the PTS. but,
Right. When is PTS over? Does anyone know?
No clue. It might already be over, to be honest.
That's what I'm
with
saying.
you.
So the patch should be coming up this upcoming week. I know Thanksgiving obviously just passed, so like I
It's-
wasn't sure.
Isn't Drogoz getting a new skin on like a skin recolor?
I heard it was a skin
yeah,
recolor.
it's the Abyssal Drogoz is being turned into. Oh God, what's his name? I think it might be Infernal Drogoz.
Infernal Drogoz. I think she posted it
I
on
think that might be the name of it.
Twitter. Yeah, I saw it.
Hey, there's they have the patch notes for the update in Steam.
It's
Alright,
not
so
the
we
official
can-
ones though. That's
yeah.
PTS note.
I'm gonna wait for the official ones to come out, and that could be our other half. So
Yeah.
this won't go up on YouTube for a while.
Yeah.